Hi, everybody. So I have my friend Carole here today, and we're going to talk about joy. So I don't know if you've heard me talk about it before, but there's like these levels of consciousness, and Carole is brilliant at joy. She's worked out how to get there. But there's levels of consciousness, and what happens is love is like the ultimate that we've been told. But actually, if you can get above love, then you're going to be in joy. And it's kind of a euphoric feeling. But the thing is each level of consciousness, you're affecting more and more people. So us as star seeds, if you can be in joy, you're going to actually be raising the consciousness of, I think it's 100,000 people. I didn't look it up before this show, but it is a lot of people that you're affecting. So I'm going to turn it over to Carole and let her talk about how she goes about teaching joy.
Hi, everyone. So good to be with you, honey. Thank you so much for the
Glad you're here.
invitation. I'm thrilled to be part of Endeavor World Project and offering this workshop, this two-part workshop. And you're so right. I mean, I think when we talk about joy, well, what really is joy? To me, joy is that youthful wonder, enthusiasm about life. It doesn't always mean, rainbows and
Unicorns.
sparklers and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's that sense of just being excited and really your whole self being ignited.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited to work with people because right now people are wondering, oh, well, do I deserve to have joy? Um, how do I even change my vibration? How can I help the alliance? How can we get to the golden age sooner? And I
Mm-hmm.
believe all of that can be achieved one moment of joy at a time.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yep. So really what I do in the workshop is I just identify the universal laws because it's important to identify that. But the one we're really going to look at is the law of vibration. And you talk about that all the time, honey. I mean, I've watched like 6 of your shows in the last 3 days. I just love binge watching them. They're just wonderful. But you're talking about that with every conversation you're having and the power of our vibration. And what I talk about is we are actually this biofield. And this biofield is how we change our vibration. And that is, what are your thoughts? What are your actions? Right? And what are your behaviors? And
Mm-hmm.
so as as individuals are able to take a look at that and see how powerful that field is. I mean, that field is just all around us. Some people know it as an aura. And the aura changes, right? So the biofield can change, but we have the power to change that. And that is how we're all connected too, because everyone has this biofield. And the other thing uh, to note is we can expand our biofield.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're feeling like sort of sensitive or vulnerable and we just want to be at home, our biofield just sort of comes in and it can protect us and nurture us and take care of us. But when we're ready to go out into the world, we can expand it and then do as you have often suggested to people, you can put your protection around you. But that biofield, we want to be strong in that field, right? Because all these concepts that we talk about as star seeds, unless we've embodied it, we don't really even know what it means. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like, what is our vibration? Well, how do we do that? Well, how do I keep all my thoughts and my actions in alignment? I mean, that is mastery. I mean, that is the path. I think the important thing that I realize is that, yes, we are walking each other home, but we're walking ourselves home
Yeah.
first. So, how do we walk ourselves home? We walk ourselves home to our hearts. And it is our divine inheritance and our divine right to have joy. That is what our Creator wished for us, which is why
Mm-hmm.
all this madness is coming to a head. And one of the things I mentioned to you before we, started recording is that we as star seeds came here because, whether you think we came here from the future or what that actually means, I think we all know that we're star seeds and we don't fit in and we weren't supposed to fit in and we still don't fit in, but we're finding our tribe, right? So
Mhm.
in doing that, we came here to say, okay, we're going to do the work. We're going to help humanity wake up. Okay, to me, that is phase one. And we accomplished that, because if we didn't accomplish that, all this stuff wouldn't be coming out of the darkness. Okay. But we don't need to stay there anymore. That's not where we belong, because we did that. So everyone else is going through that now. Now, phase two is to, on the road to the golden age, the art of cultivating joy, right? We're on the road to the golden age. We want to get to the golden age. We want this to be over. I mean, we are the ones that are going to make it happen faster or slower, depending on how we choose to live each day of our life. And I truly believe that our life is a living masterpiece.
It is.
And and
Yeah,
so okay, and joy is the canvas, and joy is the tool, and joy is the destination.
it is. And the thing too is like, a lot of people have said all we have to do is everybody has to be in the vibration of love, and none of this stuff would ever exist. It would just go away like in an instant. But the thing is that what if you can go even higher than that? So, what's one of the things that you would do to get into joy?
Well, one of the most important things is mindfulness. So in the class I talk about, I have 7 key elements to joy, because not everyone's going to get to joy in the same way.
Right.
And so, and I think that's important to know, that your joy might look very different from someone else's joy. So really the class starts out with an invocation. We all come together. We talk about the universal laws, the law of vibration, and I go through all that, the biofield, and really explaining where your power, the seat of your power is. And then we look at the 11 components to joy that I've put together.
Okay.
And so, yeah, to answer your question, it is mindfulness, because if you're not present, and again, the present, the now moment is where our power lies too.
Mhm.
And so if you're mindful about what you're doing, then you're actually going to ask yourself, do I feel joy doing this? Or why am I even doing this anymore? And I think the important thing is that as you start to look at what brings you joy, then you start to see the things that don't bring you joy. And then you start asking yourself, well, why am I doing that? And then that leads you down a whole series of, right, the work that we're doing,
Mhm.
getting to know yourself better. Um, and, joy is not just a foo-foo thing. And I think that's why it's important to talk about the law of vibration and really set the firm foundation of why it's important. And then discuss the components so people can see, oh, well, that's something that I'm already doing over here. Maybe you're doing yoga, or you're meditating, or you love to take walks, or you're a musician, or you're an artist. I mean, those are meditative practices. And so if you're already doing something that's one of the components, you're like, oh, okay, this is where I'm going to start. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then from there, really, the first class will touch on roadblocks to joy. Because I found in my life that even though I was brought up in a very joyful family, I mean, it felt we had, there was fun. I mean, along with trauma and betrayal and everything else. But I mean, it was something that was embraced by the family to have fun, be happy. Um, but I think that not everyone's going to be happy about you choosing more joy.
Yeah.
Or the reaction of people around you might be, oh, what's going on with you? One of the things that really how this whole thing started, it's sort of two-phased, is that in my early 20s, I was a singer. Well, I am a singer. I'm a gospel singer. But at that time, I was just singing like, hymns and singing for people's weddings and things like that. And my aunt introduced me to this gospel choir. Well, I remember I found out when they were going to rehearse, and I was terrified. I don't like going into new places. And
Mhm.
I had to go to a new place. I had to drive to a new place, go into a new building, find the number, right? And I was really kind of freaking out and very anxious about it. So I saw these people go there, but it's a community mixed choir. And I hid in the stairwell because I thought, oh my God, I can't just stand outside the room. There's like 30, 40 people coming in there. So I sat in the stairwell, and it just took forever for them to start singing. I mean, honest to God, I think I was in that stairwell for like 40 minutes, and I was hyperventilating, thinking somebody's going to come in there and see me sitting in the stairwell. All of a sudden, they started to sing, and I wept. And I thought, oh my God, I have to do this. And it was something in my life I didn't even know I was missing. And
Mhm.
once I started singing that music, it took me down all these different roads. But the one thing I knew, that if I didn't feel joy and I didn't feel passion for something, I no longer wanted to do it. And it took me down this road. And the original title to this is On the Road to Joy Street: The Art of Cultivating Joy, because Joy Street Productions is my company, and providing workshops is just one piece of that. There is a musical component to it as well,
Mhm.
called 528 Joy Street. So that was really my first experience, knowing that it had to feel joyful. And a lot of things fell apart. My marriage fell apart. I took a different role in my family. My friend's situation shifted. Shifted because I'm like, no, I have to feel joy. I'm certain that my creator wanted me to feel this, because it wouldn't feel like this if
Yeah.
it wasn't. So yeah. And so I just think that, people are at the precipice of their lives right now. And it's a scary time. But we have so much more power and control over how we live our lives. And so as people start taking a look at the roadblocks to joy, I mean, is the roadblock
Mhm.
just in your own spirit? Is it a belief system that was created out of your family unit? You don't even know why you're doing it? Or do you feel just kind of uncomfortable because people don't necessarily? So the second part, which I want to talk about, because I knew it was around 2012, yeah, which interestingly enough, I didn't even realize it was around that time. But I would feel really sad. I've lived a lot of my life alone. So not in a relationship, and I moved to a different state, and nature was calling me, and I didn't know anyone. So I just spent a lot of time alone. And so I was just like, the only person that is going to change my feeling depressed or loneliness is me. And so I don't live too far from the beach, and so I would put in my headphones, but it was always gospel music. I probably haven't listened to secular music in a long, long time, but it always lifts my spirit to listen to gospel music. And of course, I have to sing along, but when I'm sad or depressed or whatever, I don't want to at first, right? Because I'm like, mm. So I put on my headphones and I went to the beach.
Mhm.
And I mean, sometimes it might take 10 minutes, sometimes it could be 40 minutes, but all of a sudden I'll feel this little, I feel this little movement coming in my hips. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this feels good. And a smile comes to my face. And then I start to sing, and I can't hear myself. I don't want to hear myself because I don't want to know if I'm good or not. I just want to be in the joy. And the wonderful thing about it is, and I still do it today. So And I can do dance walking, along scenic drive on the ocean. For some reason, if I put on my headphones, that's like my powerhouse. Like, I don't even care. It's my shield. I'll do whatever, right? I'll dance, I'll sing.
That's
And
wonderful.
yeah, in fact, a couple of weeks ago, these boys on the beach saw me because I was sitting on a bench, and they saw me like kind of dancing and I'm singing, and they're way down. I think they were having a bonfire with their mom and dad. Well, I see them coming up the stairs, but I don't think anything about it. And they come around and they start dancing with me, and they're like, they want to know what it is. And so I put an earbud in each one of their ears. They're like, oh my gosh, this is good. So we're all up there dancing, and right. But not everybody's gonna be like that. There's
No.
plenty of people that were like, who does she think she is? So joy can be intimidating, but we just
Mhm.
have to make a choice. No, I'm choosing joy. I mean, we haven't felt like we belonged here forever. So why should we start to feel like we
Why
belong?
try? Yeah.
Exactly.
Just be yourself.
Exactly. We're finding our tribe now. That's
Yeah.
okay. We know we're cool. We just
Hmm.
need we need to choose joy, because everybody, I mean, you've talked about this, honey, about how we really are going to need to be there for people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean shove joy in someone's face that's, having a hard time, but just exuding that joy out of your beingness is very comforting. And it actually gives people a path to, well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, we can find joy, we can find a moment of joy in our life, even if it feels completely dismal at the
Hmm.
moment.
It's kind of that cozy feeling when somebody just baked you cookies and
Oh, I
you
love
get to
that.
have the warm cookie out of the oven. Like that's what joy feels like to people, I think. And to just be standing next to them and be exuding that vanilla chocolate smell, you know, like it's
Exactly. I
huge
love it.
for them. And it, I don't know, it just totally comes out of your pores when you're in
It
joy.
does. The other thing is that, again, I mean, we've been planting seeds since we got here.
Yeah.
And joy is a seed. It's a seed. And the thing is I believe that joy gets spread forward, because when you have that feeling inside of yourself, it does touch people. And
Yeah.
when you think about, our large biofield, I mean, that energy is touching people no matter where. I mean, that's why when we're in traffic, we can like sense what's going on in the next car sometimes, or what a driver's going to do or not going to do. Or, we walk into a room and we can tell, ooh, the energy is totally off. I mean, it's not like we don't know these concepts. These are all concepts that we know, but sometimes it just needs to be shared in a different way, so that you can see, oh, well, I'm already doing that. Oh, I can do that. Oh, yes, I just need to say, oh, yes, maybe 3 more times in a day, and now I'm feeling like my life is a little bit more under control, and that I'm on the path that I want to be on,
Yeah.
right? Because the frustration comes when you're not, when you feel like you're not on the right path, when you feel like you're not living authentically. And you can't live authentically if you don't know what brings you joy and
Exactly.
what doesn't bring you joy. And I think
Mhm.
that's as equally as important. And so between the two classes, there'll be a couple weeks so people can really start taking note. How much joy do I have in my life? What things do really bring me joy? What doesn't? How are people responding to me? How do I feel in my own being when I'm in joy, and then when I'm not in joy? So it's really bringing, again, that mindfulness to your day in a very different way, because now you're analyzing it, right, based on what brings me joy. And then from there, the second class will really be a working class, because that is where you're going to create, and I'm going to help you create your blueprint for cultivating more joy in your life. Because if you don't have a mission, and joy doesn't necessarily have to be the mission, but joy can be a part of how you're going to obtain your mission, right? So it's like,
Mhm.
well, what is your personal mission? I mean, I discovered that joy happens to be my superpower. So,
It's great.
so
Yeah.
yeah. So, and that was kind of fun, especially with Trump coming out with his, superhero stuff. I'm like, well, I'm a superhero. Joy is my
Yeah.
superpower. And everybody should be, in search of what is your superpower. So for sure, joy has to be at the, an objective of how you're going to get there. And then what are the tools, right? And to help people find the tools of how they're going to go about reaching and obtaining their mission, and what are your objectives and how are we going to get there. Because I really want people to leave after the two-part workshop with a plan. And it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a major plan, just a plan to say, okay, when I'm choosing yes, what does that mean? And how do I actually get there? Because, you talked a lot about, well, how can we help the alliance? You know what? Not by paying attention to the things that are irritating to us because we want it to happen sooner. No,
Hmm.
it's about we need to move in this direction. This is phase 2 of the star seeds objective here on Earth,
Yeah.
because with all these people, they're going to go through everything we've been going through. I mean, I've been awake for 25 years, right? I mean, it's like unraveling an onion. I'm not saying I knew the horror of it all 25 years ago, right? But at least I knew to question. But so many people are just getting to that point that they're going to question. Well, we have to cultivate the place where we're going.
Yes. Yeah. It's all about the energy of it. So what it looks like to me basically is like you get the joy, you figure out how to be a joyful person, and then you pollinate the joy around you. Like
Ooh, I
basically you
love that.
become the pollinator of joy just by being in it yourself.
Oh, that is so true. I love that. Yes, and we actually do take a look at the what is that? It's not the tree of life, but the oh, I can't think of it because I'm thinking of
Flower.
the yes, the flower of life. Yeah, we take a look at the flower of life because when you take a look at that, the flower of life, how it's, I mean, it's endless.
Yeah.
That is how we're all connected. So, I used to hear that saying that, if a butterfly's wings, flap in India, we can feel it here. And that, to me, that is what I got out of that, is that energy is swirling all around us because
Mhm.
all of our biofields and the energy that we are creating rub up against each other and nature and everything else, right? So
Yeah.
it's critically important, and we are so much more powerful than we realize. And I feel by taking a look at how vibration runs through our physical body, that people will really see, oh my gosh, this is
Yeah.
what it means when people say we're powerful. I didn't quite get that actually until I was writing the curriculum for this, because originally I did this workshop before COVID, and it was more, obviously it was in person, but it was more of really feeling the energy in the body and doing some, yoga and stretching, because
Hmm.
particularly women, I mean, everybody stores their emotions in their body, but particularly women, stored in their hips and their
Yeah.
pelvis and their middle section. And sometimes, and some people may find that they need to move their body to find out, what brings them joy, because all those emotions can, as you've said before, they can just get all jumbled up.
I'm
And so
stuck.
how do we
Yeah.
start? Yeah, and they get stuck. And so how can we start pulling them away from each other so we can become the observer? And I do find that this two-part workshop too is a lot about being the observer of yourself,
Yeah.
observing how much joy do you have now, observing how much of your day are you spending doing things that you just don't like,
I think
and
it's
observing,
brilliant.
yeah, and observing, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? So, I'm also a coach, and so if people want to work more with the process, they can certainly do so after the two-part series. Um, but I just think it's a wonderful opportunity for people, and I'm just thrilled to be able to offer it with you, honey,
Yeah.
because
I'm so
I
excited.
I
And I'm
admire you
excited
so.
for all the stuff you're doing, like the music and all of it. It's gonna be brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. So thank you so much for providing a platform for teachers like myself to
Yeah.
share what we've been doing
Thank
with
you. And thank
with
you for doing it. Like,
well,
and this is what is coming. This is the like wave of the future, is learning how to actually enjoy your life. That's what it's going to be about. It's not going to be about the drudgery that we are letting go of. So,
absolutely. Yeah, you just talked about it. I think it was the questions with Lisa. You know, you talked about the fact that, oh, all these wonderful things are going to come in, but what are you going to do with yourself? You're going to want
yeah,
to do the thing. Yeah, you're going to want to do the things that bring you joy.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. So let's
beautiful.
do more of it. I know.
Yeah. Oh, this has been great. I love it. And I think just go and think about a little bit right now, like what brings you joy. So after you finish this show.
Absolutely. I hope
Yeah.
joy is on your mind.
Yeah,
That's the key. That's the key. Well, thank you
exactly.
so much, honey, for
Thank
having me. I
you.
really, really appreciate this time.
I
And I
really,
hope that, some of you out there just feel like this is the right thing for you to do right now.
yeah,
And it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for myself
it's
too.
going to be a
So,
brilliant class too. I'm really excited because
well,
how we feel inside is basically how we experience our life.
absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Carol.
You're very welcome. Thank you, honey.
You. Bye, everybody.